Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and welcome to the episode of Weight of the Underhive. This series is dedicated to helping brand new players to Necromunda build their starting rosters and learn more about the game mechanics of their favorite gangs. And on today's episode, we'll discuss playing a Guild of Coin gang for our narrative campaign, Necromunda Monopoly. We will discuss what a narrative gang is, the reasons for playing a narrative gang, and provide a 2,400 credit starting roster for your first campaign of Necromunda. And with that being said, of course, we will put timestamps in the description box down below so that way you can click and navigate to the part of the video that interests you the most. So what is Necromunda Monopoly? Well, if you want to know what that is, it's a homebrewed campaign idea that I cooked up, which basically features merchant guilds going into a brand new sector of the Underhive and trying to lay claim to the economy as well as the markets to make profit as well as power plays for themselves in that district. Now, if you want some more information about that campaign setting, I do have a link down in my description box down below that you can click on so that way you can see exactly what the campaign rules would look like. And so, like I said before, it does feature every single merchant guild that's available in the Book of the Peril, and these guys will be fighting in that section of the Underhive to try to lock down the trade routes as well as the resources that are found in that new district as well. Now, this is, of course, will be a narrative build, which means that a lot of the things that we do with this list is actually not really acceptable with a lot of different list building rules. We do break the rules a little bit to create this gang list, and that's because we're going for more of a story driven kind of list, and that's the reason why we do this. So with that being said, we also have a Rantheus Succession list building rules for this gang, which means you can double the number of champions you have as well as 2,400 credits to make your gang, which 400 credits of which will go to your vehicles, because we do have some scenarios and some territories that take place in the Ash Waste. Now, once again, this is of course totally unofficial. In no way should you be using this for any official Games Workshop sponsored events or Necromunda campaigns that are like in tournaments or things like that. I just thought it'd be kind of like a fun way to spice up your games in Necromunda and to make the gameplay a lot more interesting with some different gangs that you usually don't see. So that being said, let's go and talk about why you should play the Guild of Coin. So let's talk about why you want to play the Guild of Coin, because you're here to win and get paid. That's exactly what the Guild of Coin is all about. It's all about making those creds. And you're going to make it rain with this list, quite literally, with both credits as well as bullets, because this gang is actually quite fighting heavy with everything that I've kind of put in this list as well. At the same time, this is going to be the only gang with access to Guild of Coin vehicles. And the reason why that is the case is because if you looked at my earlier videos, none of the other guilds at this point have Guild of Coin vehicles. And the reason why is because these guilds are fighting against one another. So because of the Guild of Coin, it's obviously not going to lend out their vehicles and their manpower to the rival guilds. They're going to keep it for themselves. So if you really want to play Guild of Coin vehicles in this campaign, this is the gang for you. So now that we're talking about the justification of why you should play a Guild of Coin gang, let's talk about exactly what narrative gameplay is when it comes to Necromunda in the first place. Alright, so first of all, let's talk about what is a narrative roster. A narrative roster is an idea I've been cooking up for a while, where it's basically a new way of playing. Necromunda is a wonderful game with all kinds of interesting stuff, with dramatis personae and special characters and skills, weapons and equipment, and all kinds of different things that makes this game such a fantastic skirmish game to play. The campaign setting is literally limitless and the different opportunities that you can have to play. So my idea was, what if you took some of those narrative aspects of the Necromunda lore and applied them to list building for our gangs? Now, in a narrative list, you'll be using dramatis personae as leaders as well as champions in your gangs, so long as it kind of fits with the overall narrative of what your gang is. Same thing with having access to certain skills, weapons, and war gear that may not normally be allowed in your gang as well, and the reason why we're doing that to add to that narrative flavor. This also applies to brutes, hangers, as well as hired guns, which are not normally allowed in a starting roster. So that's what the idea of this whole narrative roster is. We're taking the narrative elements of the Necromunda setting with a specific gang and applying it to that starting roster. Now, the whole reason why you might want to play a narrative gang is because it's a fun new way to spice up playing Necromunda. It could also be the basis of a brand new narrative campaign. A narrative campaign is this idea I've been cooking up in my head about actually having a campaign setting where there's an actual storyline for each of the different gangs. The gangs are out to seek certain kind of objectives in this campaign setting, and that's pretty much how it would work in that campaign setting. The gangs that achieve their objectives, narratively speaking, are the ones that end up winning the campaign. And the idea was a nice little way to explore some of the lore and the endless fluff that is usually associated with Necromunda. Like I said before, Necromunda has a very rich and in-depth campaign setting with different characters, houses, guilds, criminal organizations, different levels and different factions all vying for control of this crazy planet. So I thought it would be a nice, really a cool idea in order to create those kind of campaigns around those little pieces of lore and have games to reflect that and to do this. The idea of a narrative campaign as well as a narrative roster is that you kind of focus more on fluff and lore rather than competitive play, and I'm going to try to design the list around that so that way your starting roster does reflect that for the specific game that you're playing. And obviously, the biggest question should be asked, why should you play in every game? And my only answer is with another question, why not? There's a lot of cool things you can do in Necromunda and a lot of cool topics you can explore as well. This is a good way for beginners to learn how to play a game as well, and it could also be great for experienced players too, just in case you're looking for some new and interesting way to do this. Not only that, it could also be fun being an arbitrator of a narrative campaign because you got to create a narrative story, give different objectives for your gangs to try to accomplish, and earn points that way. It's also really fun for players to kind of build in backstory of why their gang is operating the way it is and how it's supposed to operate in the campaign setting, and it's a really cool idea as well. And I suggest giving it a try. I mean, why not? You could always see something new with this game system, and that's the wonderful thing about Necromunda. There's always new and cool ways of actually playing this game as well. I will give you a warning, however, no way in shape and form should you be using a narrative list like this if your arbitrator doesn't allow it for your campaign, just because I'm not following some of the official rules for the gang rule building rules that come with the game. And at the same time, these are also not really good for tournament play, but just keep that in mind as we go forward. So first of all, let's go and talk about exactly what the Mercator, Gelt, Toll Collectors have in terms of special rules, because each of these gangs are a little bit different, and so because that we're going to talk about is actually the special rules specifically for Mercator Guild and for the Guild of Coin, so let's talk about that now. So first of all, let's talk about the Guild of Coin equipment list. The Guild of Coin equipment list will have access to the House Orlok equipment list for both fighters as well as vehicles, and the reason why is because they're the only game to have exclusive access to the Guild of Coin hauler for vehicle crews, which also includes all Guild of Coin hauler vehicles as well. And like I mentioned before, that's the reason why is because these guilds are fighting one another, so the Guild of Coin isn't really going to help out their enemies in order to try to lay claim this new territory. After all, they maintain a close alliance with House Orlok as well, who protects the guild's interests on the open road in the Ash Waste, so having that kind of equipment will really help out as well. In addition, all haulers, of course, work for the Guild of Coin, and that's another reason why they have that monopoly on those Guild of Coin vehicles, as well as vehicle crews. This gang also has access to the Tollway special rule as well. We modified it a little bit just because this is not going to be an alliance perk. This is actually going to be a gang perk that they have. And basically the rule states, whenever the gang would gain credits as a reward for playing a scenario, roll one more d6 than usual. For example, if scenario reward is d6 times 10 credits, then a Guild of Coin gang would roll 2d6 times 10 credits. And the reason why is because obviously these guys are about making money, so they would have access to that. And the last benefit that this gang also has is the Highways and Byways special rule, which of course was originally from the Book of Peril, but we modified it just a little bit because this will be a gang special rule. And the Cold Collectors are fighting as a defender in any scenario. They may attempt to steal the initiative from the enemy. After step 2, but before step 3 of the pre-battle sequence, make a leadership test for the Master of Coin. If the check is failed, the battle progresses as normal, with other players continuing as the attacker and choosing the scenario. However, if the check is passed, the Master of Coin has successfully led their gang into position to ambush their attackers. Play either the ambush scenario or the trap scenario with the Guild of Coin as the attacker. Now, this is an important note to remember. This does not have any effect on the territory at stake or any other outcomes of the battle within a campaign, just because it's a little bit more of an advantage for them on that one as well. So now that we're done talking about the gang special rule, let's talk about the starting roster. This will be the Guild of Coin starting roster for Necromunda Monopoly. It's going to be rated at 2,400 credits. At the same time, this gang is the Mercator, Gelt, Toll Collectors. So let's talk about the fighters that make up this gang. First of all, you have the Master of Coins, which costs you 280 credits to field this fighter. He is going to be an outcast leader with the Mastermind archetype, and that kind of narratively fits with the overall build of the Master of Coin because this guy is more of a thinker rather than a fighter. You're going to equip this guy with Mesh Armor for a 5-up armor save, and you're also going to upgrade his last pistol with a Hot Shot Power Pack, so that way he has reliable Strength 4 shooting attacks in close combat, as well as in short-range shooting. He automatically comes with a Power Knife, as well as a Displacer Field, and he also comes with a Gun Skull as well, which that way you can get a second shooting attack with that Gun Skull's auto pistol. Now, he automatically comes with the Escape Artist, as well as the Overseer skill, and the reason why is because the unit comes with that naturally from the Book of Apparel, especially with that Overseer skill. At the same time, you're going to give this guy the Fixer skill because he's a Mastermind archetype, which makes sense because earning D3 times 10 credits at the end of every scenario, it's just something that a Guild of Coin would actually do on its own anyways. Now let's talk about your champions. Your first champion will be your Skinflint. This is going to cost you 125 credits to field this fighter. You're going to make this guy an outcast champion with the Mastermind archetype as well, because narratively it kind of fits with the overall aesthetic of this character. Now to give this guy mesh armor for 5-up armor save, he automatically comes with a plasma pistol as well as a fighting knife for close combat. He does have a cult icon, so that way he can do larger group activations as well, and he automatically comes with a lie low skill already. But we're also giving this guy the evade skill, so that way he's a little bit harder to shoot. And the reason why is because I just imagine the Skinflint kind of skulks around the Master of Coin, blasting at fools with a plasma pistol when they don't pay their dues to the gang, or to the guild for that matter. Now your second champion is going to be a Dramatis Personae character. This is going to be Hagar Freelord from the Book of the Outcast. He's going to cost 180 credits. He's going to be a Dramatis Personae Outcast champion with, once again, the Mastermind archetype, and the reason why is because that archetype overfits the overall narrative of Hagar Freelord. After all, Hagar Freelord is supposed to be an ex-Guild of Coin Master of Coin himself, who was basically betrayed by his own family members, so he retains a lot of those skills that he would get from the Guild of Coin. Now he does come with mesh armor automatically for that 5-up armor save, as well as twin plasma pistols, so that way you can do that twin guns blazing special rule that be used for short range shooting as well as close combat. He does automatically come with a respirator as well. He's also got the ex-Guilder Armory special rule, which gives you access to rarity value weapons up to 8 for all of your gang fighters. He's also got the well-connected skill as well, so that means he earns D6 times 10 credits every single time he survives a battle report. And we're to give this guy the fixture skill on top of that, so that way he gets another D3 times 10 credits, because this gang's all about generating income for yourselves, and this kind of narrowly fits for the gang as well. And your last two Outcast champions, number one's going to cost you 290 credits. This fighter's got the Survivor archetype as well. He's got mesh armor as well as a plasma pistol. He's also packing a power maul as well as photo goggles. He also has a Cyber Mastiff as an exotic pet to help them out, as well as a Nerves of Steel skill. So this guy's going to be more of like your close combat, close quarters battle type of champion. He's going to be leading your assault fire teams. He's got that Cyber Mastiff to protect him, as well as to give him some assists as well as penalties to your enemies in close combat. The power maul is a very powerful weapon. Same thing with the plasma pistol. The photo goggles, so that you can see in all visibility conditions. It just kind of works for this guy. And then your second Outcast champion, number 2, is going to cost you 200 credits. This guy's got the Gunslinger archetype. He's got mesh armor as well as armor the combo weapon, which is going to be a bolter grenade launcher combo weapon with frag grenades. He's also packing a stub gun with dum-dum rounds for a secondary backup weapon. He's got photo goggles to see in all visibility conditions, and he's got the fast shot ability. So this way you can fire twice with your bolter if you want to, or twice with your grenade launcher with frag grenades. And the reason why he's got access to this weapon is because of the ex-Guilder Armory special rule that Hagar Freelord gives to this gang as well. After that, you're going to have two Grovelers in this game because they automatically come from the delegation from the Guild of Coin. Both these fighters will cost 130 credits apiece, and they're both equipped exactly the same. Both will have mesh armor for the additional 5-up armor save, as well as long rifles as they come with standard. But we're going to equip them with infra sights, so that way they can ignore partial cover when they're shooting at long distances, and at the same time they can also shoot in all visibility conditions with those infra sights. They automatically come with fighting knives as well as a lie low skill, which unfortunately is kind of useless. I wish they would actually use the old lie low skill from the classic editions of Necromunda, where you would actually get bonuses for taking partial cover, but you know, c'est la vie. After that, we're going to start getting to your Outcast Hive Scum. Outcast Hive Scum number 1 is going to cost you 155 credits. This fighter's got mesh armor for a 5-up armor save, as well as an auto gun and auto pistol. Kind of basic weapons, I know. And he's also got a flail for close combat, so that way he can use his auto pistol as well as his flail in close combat. He's also going to be packing frag grenades, so that way you can get that beautiful 3-inch blast template. And he's also going to have photo goggles, so that way you can see in all visibility conditions. Outcast Hive Scum number 2 is going to cost you 165 credits. This guy's got mesh armor as well for a 5-up armor save, as well as packing a Sonow shotgun with scatter as well as solid shot. That way it makes it more of a powerful, closer range weapon. And he's got a servo claw for close combat, as well as frag grenades, so that way you can get that 3-inch blast template as well. And once again, he's also equipped with photo goggles, so that way you can see in all visibility conditions. Think of Outcast Hive Scum number 1 as being kind of like a medium to close range shooter, while Hive Scum number 2 is more of your close combat guy. You're probably parting this guy out with Outcast Champion number 1. Your very last Outcast Hive Scum is going to be Scum number 3. It's going to cost 195 credits. This guy's got mesh armor as well as a bolt gun, because obviously the ex-Guild Armory is going to be able to equip him with that weapon. He's also got a bolt pistol for a backup weapon, as well as a fighting knife for close combat. So this guy's going to be really good for strength force shooting. The only problem he's going to run into, of course, obviously, he's got that 6-up armor save, but we got ways to get around that, especially when we talk about the Guild of Coin Hauler, which we'll talk about later. He's also got photo goggles, that we can see in all visibility conditions as well. And because your fighters are a little bit more elite with the equipment they're carrying, we're giving your gang a rogue dock for your hangers on. He's going to cost you 50 credits with a last pistol, as well as a Medicae kit and a Medicae skill, just in case any one of your fighters roll up with a critical injury. And lastly, you're going to have a Gilded Coin Hauler. This fighter's going to cost you 495 credits. This guy's got photo goggles so that we can see in all visibility conditions, and he's going to be driving a Guild of Coin Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler for obvious reasons. It's a really powerful vehicle. It's one of the best vehicles that the Guild of Coin actually has access to. It's also going to be able to help you generate more additional income as well with the Precious Cargo special rule. It could also make a trade action in case your champions or your leader can't make any trade actions as well. And it's going to come with a Munitorium armor container, so that way you actually have automatic reloads for all of your weapons as well. You have a lot of bolt guns in this gang as well as a lot of plasma weapons, so having the ability to actually reload really quickly with that Munitorium armor container is going to prove invaluable. At the same time, that vehicle all comes with a blade of armor as well as crash cage and escape patches, so that way you can reroll injuries for anybody's on the vehicle in case something happens to it. You also got the crash cage and the blade of armor in order to protect your crew as well as to protect the body of your vehicle as well. It's got all-wheel steering, so that it's got better handling with combined tire claws, drops it to a +2. It's also got an engine shell to protect your engine vehicle as well as grenade launcher with frag and crack grenades, so that way you can lob some grenades at your enemy. Obviously, as the campaign develops, you want to buy additional upgrades to your Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler, and you also might want to deck it out with some heavy weapons. Some heavy stubbers would actually be really cool in this vehicle. Same thing with storm bolters, that'll also be really fun as well. And that pretty much makes up your starting roster for this gang. So in conclusion, building a narrative list is a fun and unique idea to try out new lists, different dramatis personae that you might not usually have access to, as well as setting up new challenges for yourself, as well as for your campaign as well. And like I said before in the introduction, in no way is this official at all, so I wouldn't recommend you taking these to any kind of official tournaments or any organized tournament play as well. Same thing with your arbitrator. Also double check your arbitrator, see if they'll be okay with you actually making a gang list like this. And ask your arbitrator if you would like to do a narrative style campaign. It could be something really cool. It could be something really cool to try out within your gaming groups and to try out new campaigns, so give it a try. And if you do decide to play this way, please let me know down in the comments box down below. I'd love to hear some of the comments and feedback you guys have about using the different lists I create, as well as some future other campaign ideas that I have coming down the pike. And of course, I'll bring up more videos about this topic as time goes on. And as always, recommendations for any narrative list will be welcomed. I'm actually planning on making a narrative list for pretty much every single faction in Necromunda, so I do have my work cut out for me, and I'll be uploading those videos on a regular basis, so keep an eye out for that to make sure you catch up to learn the newest and latest narrative lists for whatever particular faction you would like to play. So that's good for this week, guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this video, guys. We will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy.